What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for joining us today on the podcast. Well, you know, Jim Crow Clyburn has done it again. He has done it. And we're going to talk about Jim Crow Clyburn, how despicable he is in this podcast today. Before we get to that, let's pay a quick bill and we'll be right back.
I'm E.
And I'm Jay.
And we're the hosts of Opinionated Reality.
In this podcast, we have discussions about various topics that come up throughout our everyday life as a married couple.
Whether it's discussing living the B1 lifestyle
or things we did as 90s kids.
We give insight into what we believe, and everything I say is reality.
And we're wrong. It's your opinion.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram at opinionated_reality, where you can find clips of our podcast, t-shirts that we're selling, and even motivational quotes.
Also, if you live in the Atlanta area and you're in need of a photographer, please contact me on my Instagram at jnicolephotos. And thanks for listening.
An important message from Youth Fountain Laboratory, makers of VasoFlux and VasoFlux for Men. If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Blackout. Blackout is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856. And remember, to help unclog veins and arteries, get the Blackout.
So just last week, we was talking about Tim Scott, Kamala Harris, saying that America's not a racist country, and Clyburn came right behind him and said, America's not a racist country. So you had a lot of black people pissed off about that. Now Jim Crow Clyburn has done it again. Now he's saying, and we're going to play a clip, that he don't want to get rid of a good bill for a perfect bill, because he says that qualified immunity, which we all have been fighting about getting rid of qualified immunity. Now, qualified immunity allow those police to kill you and not have any kind of consequences for it. You can't go and sue the police officers. They don't have any kind of recourse because they can just kill at will. And what a lot of people are saying now in America is this: no, they should not just have a free reign to kill. We don't, as citizens, don't have a free reign to kill. So why can't they do that? You know, the excuses of, oh, I thought, he had a gun, don't fly. I was scared of my life. That don't fly. Now, we're not saying that the police shouldn't, shoot down a terrorist or some sort of criminals actually doing something. But when we keep seeing black people get killed unarmed, and then they want to use qualified immunity to get out of it, no, that is a major no. When we seen what happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, if qualified immunity wasn't in existence, it'd have been much easier, than what we saw what happened with those cops. The only reason those cops got arrested is because people went to the streets and turned the cities up all over this nation and caused billions of dollars in damage. That's why they had to say, oh, no, we got to get them, because they tearing this whole country up, costing us money during a pandemic when we losing money right now. So I want you to listen to Jim Crow Clyburn on CNN with Jake Tapper. I want you to hear it out of his mouth, because I don't lie on nobody. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
And the same thing with policing reform legislation. There's a tentative agreement. The biggest sticking point right now remains whether or not police can keep qualified immunity for officers, which Republicans led by Tim Scott of your home state say they need to keep. Again, is anything less? Do you need the whole loaf? Or are you willing to pass the bill that has most of what you want, but just not the end to qualified immunity?
Well, I will never sacrifice good on the altar of perfect. I just won't do that. I know what the perfect bill will be. We have proposed that. I want to see good legislation, and I know that sometimes you have to compromise. But let me say this. I have been saying from the beginning, we have well-trained police officers. We've got to do a better job of recruiting police officers. We got to get good people, no matter how good the training. If you don't have good people, the training does no good. Now, the problem we've got now is that there are some bad apples in policing. We have seen it in our living rooms. We know it's still there. We got to root out the bad apples, and let's go forward with a good, solid program. If we don't get qualified immunity now, then we'll come back and try to get it later. But I don't want to see us throw out a good bill because we can't get a perfect bill.
Jim Crow Clyburn said that they need some training. Okay, Jim Crow Clyburn. Well, last week also on our news channel, we covered the #1 police trainer in America. This man by the name of Dave Grossman. He is a #1 police trainer. He is specialized in what they call killology. Yes, didn't even know that was his existence. And this man is booked 200 days out of the year. Let's play a clip just so we can know exactly. Maybe you didn't see that video from us last week. Let's play a clip on what the police training really is.
I am convinced from a lifetime of study, if you fully prepare yourself, in most cases, killing is just not that big a deal. For a mature warrior who's prepared themselves mind, body, and spirit for a lifetime, for a mature warrior who's killing somebody represents a clear and present danger to others, it's just not that big a deal. There's no wrong way to respond to killing. There's many ways people respond, and they're all the same. They're all okay. But if you could choose how you responded, I think you'd want to feel good about it, yeah? The satisfaction of hitting the target under the stress of combat, to do what you're trained to do, to stop a deadly force threat, to save lives, to save your own life. Some call it survive euphoria. It feels real good. Some people feel bad, they don't feel bad, yeah? Some people feel bad, they feel good about it, yeah? LAPD brought me out to do in-service day for the detective. LAPD detective in-service day is 600 people. One crusty old detective came up, she said, Colonel, you're the first one in 20 years to tell me it's okay to not feel bad about killing that guy, yeah?
So Jim Crow Clyburn, that's the more training that they need to be trained to kill, to be saying killing is okay to kill, it's no big deal to kill. That's the training that they need. That's what you're advocating. Let me tell y'all something, ladies and gentlemen. We have a group of black politicians that need to be grabbed by the collar and thrown out of every piece of government that they're in. They are nothing but black faces, but underneath everything, brothers and sisters, they are nothing but white supremacists. That's what they are. And the reason why they get away with it for so long, because we have a previous generation of people that said that they just wanted representation and not substance. Representation and not anything that they can say, look at what this guy or lady done for us in our communities. How is it that you keep sending back Jim Crow Clyburn? I'm talking about you black folks in South Carolina. How is it you keep sending that man back? Every 2 years, that man is going back. That man needs to go sit himself down somewhere and go spend time with his grandchildren. Why is he still in that position? How is it that black folks allow that? Because, see, you can't just come at Clyburn. You got to come at the black folks that voted that trash in. Yes, that's trash. Black people are being murdered in the street. And this piece of doggone trash, Clyburn, is going to sit up here and say that, well, qualified immunity, we could take that up later. Oh, so black people are always being told later. Always being told later. Did you tell the Asians we could take that Asian hate later? We ain't got time for that right now because it's too hard. No, you all agreed to it. But when it comes to black people being openly lynched like George Floyd was, which is a modern day lynching that we saw in 4K, when we have our sister Breonna Taylor murdered the way she was murdered, how is it you sitting up here watching what happened to Dante Wright? What happened to Ma'Khia Bryant? And you can sit here and watch the deaths of black people all day, and you got this, I don't care, that's them. Because that's the way you respond to it. The police ain't doing that to me. I don't care. But let me tell you how Jim Crow Clyburn and his ilk think. Well, maybe if they just work hard and not commit crimes and go to school, and maybe the police wouldn't kill them like that. All they got to do is just listen to what the police say, the same way racists tell black people. That's that same mindset, because think about it. You've been sitting up there 30 plus years in that position, and nothing in the black community has gotten better. Matter of fact, the black community has gotten worse underneath your tenure. How is that? How is the white supremacist so much worse than you? Because at least with the white supremacist, I see him or her coming. I get it. But what happens with black people get confused at a black skin with white supremacist agenda. They're confused because in your mind, you would think that, okay, he or she look like me, come from the same neighborhoods as me, know the issues and problems, so I shouldn't even have to so much tell him what we need to do or her need to do. They should just kind of know by living in the community what we need. You know what I'm saying? That's like a lot of logic in the thinking of black people. But unfortunately, we can't even go off of that, because the moment they get up there, let me tell you something, when the Democrat Party pick them, they pick them. You hear me? And they do not pick them to serve you or me. Now, I believe in voting. I tell people that I believe in voting no matter what country you live in. Please be registered to vote. Why? Because you can strategically vote and get people out of there that's not doing what they're supposed to do. What should happen in South Carolina the next time that fool come up for election? You should have a candidate ready to go, a candidate that's for the black community and unapologetic about the black community. And then you need to throw all your votes behind that individual. Because one thing that's going on with Jim Crow Clyburn and all them ones in that Congressional Black Caucus that's selling us out and depending on that older generation of voter men, every year their voter base is constantly shrinking and is about to go to nothing. Do you hear me? And the younger people are saying to Clyburn and any of them up there at the Congressional Black Caucus, you better be about black people, or don't worry, you're going to be moved around too. Because you know what? This referendum in this country nationally is not just focused on the white supremacists. It's also focused on these black politicians that has a white supremacist agenda. Let me tell you something. When everybody came at Senator Tim Scott talking and mad at him, oh boy, a lot of people had to eat crow, because some of you Kamala Harris supporters and Biden supporters ate crow when Kamala said the exact same thing. And black folks haven't forgot that. Kamala committed, in my opinion, political suicide. Sure, she will get some bread and butter from the massa. Sure, she gonna do that. But you gotta remember, none of us supported Kamala anyway. That's why she had to drop out of the race. You understand? She had to completely drop out. Black folks say they wanted a black woman to be vice president, and that's the black woman they gave you, the one you didn't want. Oh, I think that's so funny. You understand? So you had, in this period of time, you had having your black politicians literally expose themselves. And this is great. This is a good thing. This is happening because you're seeing now what's going on. And let me tell you something. The litmus test for your black politician, one of the questions you need to ask them when you run up on them, say, hey, Representative so-and-so, do you have it on camera? You think America's a racist country? And if they say anything outside of hell yeah, it's racist, you know, and this is why we're trying to fix this racism up here. If they're not willing to say that, and they start hee-hawing around, if you know, or something like, if they repeat, you know, Kamala, like, no, America's not a racist country, but we got racist people. Your whole institutions are racist. That means you are a racist country. A racist country means institutions, okay? Not people, institutions. There's a story that we're covering about, for instance, a black woman. This is not the first time it's happened. Wanted to refinance her home. She wanted to get an appraisal. They appraised her at one price. She got another appraisal, asked her white friend to be there while the appraisal's going on, take all the pictures down, anything that related to looking like black people live there. And guess what? $100,000 more. That is what you mean a racist country. Your institutions are racist. You're not judged on your hard work and effort and merit. You're judged on the color of your skin, and that's with white supremacy. So yes, we live in a racist country, but approach all your politicians like that and say, hey, you think America's a racist country? That's the litmus test. Because you'll find out real quick if they, for the black community, are they Democrat first. You'll find out that answer. Remember, they should be able to fire off real quick. Yes, America is a racist country. And this is why I'm here, because I'm going to fight for the community. I'm going to do, you know what I'm saying? Make them say America is a racist country. Because they're so scared that mass are going to get on them or get them out of there. Because what you're seeing now is that Democrat Party, what you're seeing that they're no different than Trump and them. You're seeing that. See, before we used to tell y'all that the Democrats are just like the Republicans with the racism, and some of you black folks would argue us down and say, oh, no, they ain't like Trump and them, and y'all hoteps and all that. And now you see in the quote-unquote hoteps is right, huh? You see the hoteps are right the whole time. Because we know more than you. You understand what I'm saying? We know more. You just following massa. We know what's going on. You know, you try to use the word hotep as an insult. Ain't no insult to be called hotep. How is that an insult? That derives itself from African history. Like, why? How you know you nothing but a snarling raccoon when you sit up here saying, "Oh, look at these hoteps." Well, look at this butter biscuit eating house Negro. You shucking and jiving Shambo. Look at you. You have the attitude it's better to be the footstool of massa than on my own fighting. That's you. So of course you're gonna call any black person that's saying something about the community a quote unquote hotep. I just think that's interesting and funny, ladies and gentlemen. So Clyburn every year would have this fish fry, giving you some old cheap catfish, because I know that's what he's giving you, cheap catfish, frying that mess. No black folk have heart disease and all the different things that black folks deal with our health. And this idiot, instead of promoting good health, he gonna sit up here and give you a fish fry. He couldn't at least say, you know what, I'm gonna have a fish, meal for y'all, but I'm gonna get y'all some good fish, red fish or snapper or whatever kind of fish, right? Trout, bass, different type of bass. You know what I'm saying? My favorite fish, Chilean sea bass, right? He couldn't even get that for y'all. He couldn't say, you know what, we're not gonna fry it this year. But we're gonna pan sear it this year. We're gonna make it real good for y'all. No, he can't do that. He won't give black folks the cheapest thing he can give them. and y'all think that's a good thing. Black people are dying out here in the streets. And these politicians like Clyburn, Kamala, Tim Scott, It's all of them. All of them. It don't matter what side of the aisle they on. It's all of them. I'm just glad that the Democrats now are being exposed to being just as white supremacist as the Republicans. And we've been saying that. We've been saying that they are no different. And see, Trump getting out of there actually have exposed them. See, with Trump not being in there, they can't put it all on that Trump. Oh, that Trump's so racist. And oh, see how racist he is. And Trump. You can't say crap about Trump. Trump is out. I made a post on Twitter. And I'm paying attention to everything that's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I do. That's my job. And China has been flexing hard since Trump has been out of office. And I said, man, China threatening Australia now, talking about if they back the U.S. with the Taiwan situation, they're going to shoot long-range missiles at Australia. And then they're trying to get a Navy base on the west coast of Africa, which they definitely could be in striking distance of the United States. Then they're trying to get this airstrip that's 1,800 miles from Hawaii. All this mess they start pulling now when Trump got out of office. When Trump was in office, they wasn't pulling all that because they knew Trump was crazy as hell. And he was unpredictable. They knew that. But all y'all get in there. You get in there. All you doing is spending the money. You're telling people, you got businesses right now can't even hire nobody because y'all want to let people sit on unemployment to freaking, I think, September, giving people all this extra unemployment with people saying, well, shoot, what's the point of working? I can sit at home. You know what I'm saying? You got people who's renting. They don't want to pay no rent. They want to keep stretching this thing out. You can't go forever without paying no rent. Come on now. I'm just saying what's right is right. You made an agreement to stay in a place and pay your rent, okay? We all, whether you're mortgage or whatever, you make that agreement, you need to pay where you need to stay. But no, they want to keep stretching this out and stretching this out. That's what they're worrying about. Instead of worrying about other things that you need to focus on. And black people, I want you to see this. You see, you got finessed. Once again, they told you, black people, if you help us take the House and the Senate and let us get the presidency, then black people, we can get your HR 40 done. We'll get your study. Now, the Asians didn't get a study. The Asians getting $50 million without a study with a stroke of a pen from Biden. Central American countries about to get $310 million with no congressional approval with a stroke of a pen from Biden. Biden can do that for you too, but he's not going to do nothing for you because he don't respect you. That Democrat Party don't respect you. I want to know who they're going to blame this time. Since Trump's not in there, what, you going to blame, Tim Scott? Who you going to blame? Mitch McConnell? Who you going to blame this time? Because let me tell you why I know they're in trouble. The reason why I know the Democrat Party is in trouble right now because Biden and them is trying to reach out to those rural white people because they feel like, well, we ain't got this black vote in the bag because, we have really messed up. And we not going to give them anything. So, you know what? Let's just go reach out for these rural white people. You understand? And Jim Crow Clyburn is a part of that. He needs to be thrown out of the Congressional Black Caucus. If you're not for black people, they need to go. And black people in South Carolina, those who listen to this platform, it is your job to make his political life hell and get him out of there. Y'all should be finding whoever's going to run and run against Clyburn and put all y'all votes and everything behind them. He needs to go. He needs to go. And I'm not saying he go and he's replaced by a younger version of him either. No. If that's going to happen, let the Republicans win. Because you know what? The Democrats will pull that stunt. They're like, okay, well, Clyburn is mud. We'll tell Clyburn to go ahead and retire, and then we'll go ahead and pick another one that's just a younger version of Clyburn. And what you need to tell the Democrats, you pick another one that's just like Clyburn if you want to. We will sit up there and let those Republicans win. Republicans can run it all. You got to make that move. Because you know what? If y'all going to be white supremacists, well, let the real white supremacists have it then. At least when the real white supremacists have it, black folks get more on code. They're not confused. They know what they're facing when they're facing the real white supremacists. Because this situation with Clyburn and what he said, that is political ending to me. And it should be political ending to you. Well, he already, and he said America's not a racist country. And then he says that qualified immunity don't have to be in that bill. We could take that up another time. Another time means we're not going to do it at all. He wants to protect the race soldiers killing you, killing our children. He wants to keep protecting them. Remember, this isn't Trump saying this. This isn't Mitch McConnell or Ted Cruz or anybody else that you're talking about, or Candace Owens or Larry Elder, or Jesse Lee Peterson. It's not none of them saying it. It is your favorite Democrat party, Clyburn, saying it. It's despicable, and he needs to go.